Welcome to the Chat and Dematt podcast. On this episode, we are joined by one of the biggest social media stars that you will find in the grooming industry. Known for her viral slo-mo videos, her TV show Hot Dog, and being Katy Perry's dog groomer, it's Jess Rona. So, hi Jess, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's the afternoon here, but it's early morning with you, isn't it?
Yes, I'm right after we're done, I'm gonna make coffee.
No, good idea. Very wise
Yeah.
decision.
Are you guys big coffee drinkers where you're from? I mean, we are huge coffee drinkers.
I think it honestly depends. I mean, I
How's
never
the
drink coffee.
culture?
Never drink coffee. But
Really?
yeah, like it's a really rare occasion. It just doesn't wake me up. But I know there's people like here at Christies that can't survive without about 3 coffees a day.
Yeah, so what's your morning like? Do you just have breakfast and water? Tea?
I usually do breakfast and a bit of a smoothie.
Okay. All right.
But
We're
then we
really
have
getting to
like
know each other.
tea break. So I drink tea on our tea breaks.
Cute.
Very
Isn't tea cute?
See, it's so normal over here. It's so like
It's cute over
standard.
here. I mean, like a cute little tea with like a little cake.
But we'll dive right in and I
Okay.
ask everyone this, but what is your sort of grooming story?
So I fell into it. I started as so my mom would buy cat food at this place called PetSmart, and she took me, with her, and we saw a help wanted sign.
Yeah.
And I was about 18, and she was like, "My kid needs a job. Let's see if they're hiring, like if they would hire you." And so I just looked at all the job offers that they have, and it's
Yeah.
like this big store where you can buy dog food, there's fish, there's birds, like there's like all kinds of animals that they sell and take care of. So I looked at the list of jobs, and at the very bottom was dog bather. And I was just looking for a job, just to like have a job. I was a broke teenager. And so I was like, I'm just going to be a dog bather. This sounds like the least 9 to 5 seeming job option ever. I had never had dogs. I knew nothing about dogs. Like one of the first weeks, I remember that the manager was like, "Can you just put the lead on the lab and bring him out?" And I was like, "What's a lead and what's a lab?" That's how little I knew. So yeah, so over time, I mean, I was terrible for so many years. And I would wash dogs on the floor. I'd be wet all day. I just, it was my life. And then slowly over the years, I was lucky enough to have people mentor me. So the grooming manager started to show me little things. Here's how to trim pads. Here's how to clip nails. Here's a schnauzer cut, or whatever. And so I slowly started dipping my toe in it, terrified, but like, let me try it.
Yeah.
And then I was at PetSmart for about 4 years. And then I bounced around from shop to shop. And I just was very lucky to have people kind of guide me and mentor me. And I was really, really terrible for a long, long time, years and years. I was just, I mean, I was always an artist. So
Yeah.
I was very good at blending with shears.
Okay.
So I can blend the haircut so it wasn't super choppy. Looking back, I'm not even sure if that's real or true. I have no pictures, but I remember like liking blending,
Yeah.
but there was no intention, no shape, no knowledge of anything technical. And so I was also pursuing my acting career because I had always wanted to be an actress. And that's why I chose this job, because I was like, well, I'll have the freedom to pursue my acting
Yeah.
career. I live in LA. It's normal to pursue acting here. And so I worked at restaurants during the evenings, and then I worked during the day as a dog groomer. And so I've always had 2 jobs, like all the time. I have multiple jobs. I feel like most comfortable in a lot of work and chaos for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can relate to that.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
I give off chaotic energy sometimes.
Ooh.
I like doing about 50 different things at the one time. And if I am doing one thing, there's 50 different things going off in my brain. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah. And so I had had experience waiting tables because my stepdad growing up was a caterer.
Yeah.
So I had started working since I was like 13. So anyway, I just started grooming dogs. I would wait tables at night, groom dogs during the day. And then it was my big dream to stop grooming altogether and just be a waitress. Like that was my big goal. I was like, if I could be a waitress, then I can have my whole day free
Yeah.
and I can pursue acting. So I started waiting tables and I got my heart broken and decided to move to New York. And at that time, I was like, I'm just going to work on waiting tables and not grooming dogs. So I stopped grooming dogs. I started doing improv comedy and I was just waiting tables and doing improv. And so over like a couple of years, I was like, I don't think I want to wait tables anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know how to do this thing. I kind of know how to groom dogs. Maybe I'll just get really good at that.
Yeah.
So then I came back to LA and I had the intention I'm going to get really good at dog grooming and improv.
Okay.
Those are my two passions. That's what I want to get good at. So I dove in very deep. This was about 12 years ago that I got back to LA. So I got back to LA and I was just like, I'm going to compete in grooming competitions. I'm going to try really hard. And I remember this is before social media.
Yeah.
So do you know who Jay Scruggs is?
Yes, yeah.
So this was like a long, long time ago that I decided I found the groom expos and the trade shows, and they weren't what they are today. They were like dinky, not well attended. Like it was just like nothing like how it is now. So I remember walking up to Jay Scruggs because I had seen his DVDs, Super Stylin' Sessions on like DVD. This was probably even before Amazon. I don't even know how we lived, but I remember seeing him and I was starstruck.
Yeah.
I was nervous. He was like a celebrity to me because I was trying really hard to get good at grooming. So I was just like learning however I could.
Yeah.
And so to see him in person, I was like, oh my God, I'm such a fan. Because when you're coming up as a groomer and you don't really know how to do it quite well yet, people who do it really well are like magicians to you. And you're like, how do you do it?
How do you get that
do that?
shape?
How do you make the feet like that? How do you make the finish like that? I just was like enamored with him. I was like, and he was, very gracious and everything. And so I asked him, would it be okay if I sent you pictures of before and after grooms? This was before social media, like I said. So I emailed him. I would email him pictures and then he would give me sweet feedback. That was really helpful.
That's really nice.
And it's just so funny. Like now he asks my advice on cute faces. And I was just like, this is not my life that you're asking me any type of advice on anything. So I decided when I made the decision to get really good, I just did everything I could to get really, really good at grooming.
Yeah.
And then I started competing. I started placing in grooming competitions. And then I was working at a shop and it just wasn't working out because I would leave for auditions.
Yeah.
And I would have a full day of work. And I shouldn't be someone's employee, really.
Yeah.
I'm very opinionated. I'm very much an entrepreneur. As much as I fought it my whole life, once I released control and went with the flow and was like, okay, yes, I know, universe, I should be an entrepreneur. Then everything started to come into place. But there was a long time where I was just like not wanting the hassle of it. It's very challenging to be an entrepreneur. It's a lot
to think about.
And it's not for everyone. It's crazy. And so I got fired and I was living in this house and it had a little washer dryer hookup. So I installed a bathtub in the garage and I created a little grooming shop, a home grooming shop.
Really?
And I was just grooming alone. It was a Prius, a grooming table, and a bathtub in my garage. That's how my life was for a while. The breaker would pop off. I didn't know how to put it back on. The breaker. It was hot. I didn't have AC. I was just like miserable. And then slowly I put in an AC, and there was no ceiling, so I had to put in a ceiling.
Yeah.
I slowly made it really cute and made it my own. But I didn't know how to have a business. I just thought I could do grooming at home so that I could pursue acting.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of improv at the time. And so I thought, this will just be a way to pay bills. So I didn't tell people I was a groomer. I hid it from my friends. Like I didn't hide it, but I was just like, I don't want to be known as a groomer.
Yeah.
I want to be
You weren't
known as an
promoting
actress.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be known as an actress. And so then, like, I remember I was sort of in a dark time in my life. I was very antsy, not booking work as an actor, very few clients, not making any money.
Yeah.
And I was just really kind of in a low place. I was very unhappy. And that's right when the iPhone came out. And a dog was on my table and her ears blew up in the wind. And I put it on a video. And I just sent it to the client and I was like, look, I made a cute video of your dog. Enjoy. And I started doing that. I would send people their videos of their dogs as I was grooming them. I had like 3 clients a day. It was like not a lot. And so then I realized through their feedback how much they enjoyed it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so cool that you guys like this thing I'm doing. This was like in 2014, 2015. And I was like, I had already competed in competitions. I was already getting good. And so I started this Instagram really early on. Yeah. And I started creating these music videos because it was just funny to me. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know how to edit. I was just, I just tried it. Yeah. But the people's reactions were so massive that I was like one of the first people to go viral on Instagram. I would get like thousands of followers. Gosh. People would repost my stuff and then I would get like waves of followers, thousands. It's kind of like how TikTok is now. Yeah. It's just insane. Before I knew it, I had 10,000 followers. Then I had 20,000 followers and I was like, what? I went to, I could tell you about like how I blew up in that way, but that's like my basic origin story of how it all started. I could keep going, but there's we only have an hour, so please, if I'm interrupting your questions, like, please stop me.
No. Yeah, that's insane. Like,
I know, it's crazy.
Just like overnight almost.
They say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yes, I have.
But I had been grooming for 15 years at that point. I had been preparing. I had been doing improv comedy and learning how to be funny for 10 years. So like it wasn't overnight. It was just the opportunity came at the right time. And the preparation was there. So it looks like lucky, but I was struggling. I was still struggling up until just a couple years ago. Yeah. I didn't know how to have a business. I didn't know how to charge. I didn't know anything. So I learned there was this book that I would listen to. I realized, you can listen to audiobooks and podcasts as you work. This was new, Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to learn as I work. I'm going to get really savvy. How do I make money? So I started reading books about how to make money, how to be a good business person. And I learned so much.
So let's talk about your social media success a bit more.
Yeah.
So obviously, as you said, it takes a lot of hard work and it was years in the making, but you must have just had like a natural marketing knack. You just seen something different that people hadn't done before and you went for it. Do you think that's a big part of growing your business, is maybe just looking at the different aspects of it and going, that's different, I should post that up?
I know, because the main thing I want to mention is, how do you make your audience feel? Yeah. So it's not about me and what I think is different, that what I provide is going to stand out from other people. I put the focus on the audience. Mm-hmm. How can I make someone feel joy? Can I educate you in a fun way? What can I do to make you feel good? So it's really more about being of service than about how do I stand out? What do I get? How do I benefit? How can I get more followers versus how can I give more love? Yeah. So it's not like it's really that. It's how can I give versus how can I get? If you switch that mentality, you're just going to have a more joyful time creating,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah. So that's really my ethos. How my whole mission of my brand is spread joy.
I think that
I
really,
mean, it's spread joy and show the world what adorable, cozy grooming is,
yeah,
how technical it can be, but also how important energy is and how important it is to have a cozy, calm dog, you know?
exactly. Could you do mention that on your website that you are an energetic groomer? What is an energetic groomer?
So dogs are energy readers.
Yeah.
If I look at my dog and shake my head, like that to my dog, she will back away from me because if she's like begging for food and I'm just like, it's my energy that she's responding to, not the words, not the volume of the words, not the humans are so logical.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are completely instinctual and they're right in the moment and they read your energy. And also, what I've learned over the last 20 something years of grooming is that I'm able to communicate with a dog through my touch. So if I notice the nuanced clues that they give me, if a dog, just gets tense for a moment, if I know how to respond to that and show them that I see that, they will calm down. And it's such a difficult thing to talk about. Like I can show you,
Yeah.
I can demonstrate it with a dog, but basically, I've tried and tried and tried. Like, how can I teach this? So basically, I've just figured out a way to respond to their cues through my touch. If a dog is having a panic for something, which is a lack of trust, basically, how can I respond by giving them trust, by showing them that they can trust me? And that kind of response goes all over the map.
Yeah.
If a dog's being a lunatic, thinking it's going to get away with whatever it is, I will touch the dog and and I will correct it. And then they will read my energy and know that I mean business.
Yeah.
And what I do is I match their intensity. If a dog is intensely crazy, I will be intensely energetically firm.
Yeah.
If a dog is gentle and timid, I will be very soft with that dog. So I sort of match their energy and I try my best to respond through gentle touch, through a firm kind of correction. And so it's a case by case, but basically what I'm doing is showing the dog that they're seen and understood.
Yeah.
And I just do it in a million different ways. And I just respect them. I don't treat them like an object. I sort of treat them as a partner.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this together. I got you. I'm in charge. And I respect you. And that's how I communicate with them. Does that make sense? It's really hard to explain.
100% it does. It's maybe just about sensing. A lot of it's to do
Yes,
with sensing.
using your senses. 100% using your senses. Yes.
No, it's a good way to think about it. I'd never heard that term before. I'm an energetic dog groomer. I was like, oh, I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
But it's just, it feels like it's common sense.
I mean, not really. Humans are very logical. We use our intellect to drive our lives so much, but sometimes you can use your divine self, your spiritual self to guide you. And that's where your energetic stuff comes from.
Yeah.
We are energetic beings, every single person. That thing that beats your heart, the thing that makes you breathe, that thing that makes you alive is something divine. And it's an energy that we all have, every human. But we're also like flawed human beings with a lot of logic.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're both. We're both energy and matter, but we're mostly energy. We don't need to go too hippy dippy. I am from LA, so I do know maybe your listeners are not as open to that as I am. I'm like, let's meditate real quick.
It's fine. I probably need that and set my life a bit more zen.
Oh my gosh, if you come to LA, it's all everyone's all about it.
LA is actually one of my dream places to go. I think I would do well in like San Fran.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
gorgeous.
That's where I would go if I was heading over that direction. But
well, whenever you get here, come say hi.
I will.
Come to my shop. Okay.
Not again. You'll be like, who are you? And then you'll hear the accent and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember her. One of the biggest things about social media is branding. And your branding is so recognizable. You know, you see it, it's very 70s, lots of wood. It's just, you can tell it's Jess Rona. How do you think people should build up their own branding as such? But because I feel like it's a hard one because yours seems very genuine. Like it's not forced at all.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened organically. In that garage,
Yeah.
it was wood paneled.
Oh.
The garage was wood paneled. That's how it happened. And then I just would get dog pictures. I like thrifting. I like thrift stores and flea markets. So I got a couple dog portraits and it just kind of organically came. But my advice to people who are wondering, how do I do branding? How do I, create sort of a theme in my business or my brand? I think it's mostly just like, what are your interests? What lights you up? What do you think is fun and beautiful? And also think about how your clients will feel interacting with your brand.
Yeah.
For me, the feeling words come with like whimsical, funny, kitschy. I sort of describe my brand as like Wes Anderson meets Bewitched and the Brady Bunch, you know? So it's like a little winky and, old and quirky. It's like, what lady lives here? Who lives here? Whoever lived in the shop that I have now, she was like, I just like think about you can even think about characteristics of a character.
Yeah.
That might help with your branding. If you're like, what type of person represents the brand I want to create?
Yeah.
What are their characteristics? For me, she was obsessed with dogs in the 60s and 70s and maybe 80s, although, she probably the highlight of her life was in the 60s and 70s. And she was very glam. She loved show dogs. Maybe she was a judge, whatever. That's who lived in my shop. So maybe if someone needs some help, like, what are your favorite colors that bring you joy? And pick your top 5 colors.
Yeah.
I was really lucky because someone reached out, asked me like, do you have someone who has put your brand together? Meaning, tell me what colors our brand has and we will put them on a little cheat sheet.
Yeah.
We have your fonts that you love and the colors that you love. And I think that's all that's on there. We just have a couple fonts and a couple colors. And like the wood paneling, I like gold, glam, because the wood is so dark that I want something bright and fun to contrast. So my color scheme is very warm, but some people like cool, like, do you want blues and purples? And like, so pick your favorite colors and then find, every color has a number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how that world works, but I know every color has a number. And so like, pick your 5 favorite colors and just have a cheat sheet and put the numbers so that if anybody ever wants to create any sort of material that is based in your branding, you have a brand identity and you could just send them that cheat sheet and say, use these fonts, use these colors, and then that's branded for me. Here's my logo, and there you go. But I think mostly think about, how you feel and how your client will feel.
Yeah, because as you said, yours is very warm, like warm toned, very retro, but it's almost like a feeling of nostalgia and home is what I get from it.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that. I want it to be love too. I want it to be warm, love, community, family, joy, funny. Those are things that I think of when I think of my brand. So instead of thinking of technical things like how do you stand out? How do you have colors? It's like, think of the feeling and that might guide you. And also if people, whoever's listening to this that really wants to start a brand, maybe write out, on a piece of paper what your ideal client would feel coming into your shop or going on your website and that sort of thing.
Welcome to Quickfire Questions. I will be asking Jess just a few questions and all she has to do is give me the first answer that pops into her head. This round of Quickfire Questions is brought to you by Heinegger, the choice of champions when it comes to clippers. So, Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
Favorite place in the world?
My husband's arms.
Curly coat or long coat?
Curly coat.
If you weren't a groomer, what would you be? I feel like I know the answer to this.
I would be acting, directing, and producing my own show.
How many dogs do you have?
2.
What's your favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Delicious. What would you say is the most important part of the groom?
The prep work.
What makes you smile every day?
Gratitude.
Tell me something that only your close friends would know.
How affectionate I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty affectionate.
And then finally, describe your career in 3 words.
Pioneer, love, and survival.
You talked a bit about your humour and your funniness. Where does that come from?
My family.
Your family?
Yeah, my dad's side is very dry and sarcastic humor, and my mom's side is very goofy, crazy humor. So I think I have a little bit of both. I put them together. So I say I might be goofy, but I'll do it in a grounded way, you know? I was class clown in my high school. I was always the funny one. I was always trying to make people laugh. I've always wanted to be an actress and a comedian. I've just always been that girl trying to be funny, you know?
Funny front and center.
Yeah, I've been that type of person my whole life, yeah.
And you also have a TV show. Well, you're an executive producer, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, it's hot dog, but it sounds really weird in my accent. It's like hot dog, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah, hot dog. You could just say hot dog.
It's hot dog, okay. But it's spelled like
we're not pronouncing the word right.
Hot.
French hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about that show, because we obviously don't have it over here in the UK.
Yeah, so one of my clients, I groom the dogs of many, you know, TV people, developer people that are producers and create shows. And one of them was like, we're going to make a show. Let's make a show. This was years ago. And I had people approach me to do a reality show and that kind of thing before, but I was in a garage, you know, there's really not a lot of room for cameras. And it was just like probably too chaotic. And then I moved into the brick and mortar when the pandemic hit. So nothing really has happened, but we started just having a concept of a grooming competition show that was lighthearted and not cutthroat and full of love, and also embodied my brand, and still had like the funny, kitschy brand, but also like a kind of whimsical, like almost 70s cheesy sort of vibe where it's like just pure joy. And we were able to create 1 season of it. It was called Hot Dog. It's on HBO Max. And yeah, it was really, really fun. It was great. It was a dream come true. My 2 worlds came together. Because like I was sitting on a panel with 2 comedians and we were improvising all day, making jokes, doing bits, and I was like, dog grooming and improv and getting paid for it on TV with a camera. There's just nothing better. This is my dream. It's everything I love.
You must shake yourself sometimes though, because even like I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and one of your posts came up, and you know the way the top comments show up, and it was like Busy Phillips, and I was like, my jaw dropped, and I was like, oh my goodness, it just must be like crazy sometimes.
You know, it is, but like I am from LA.
Nah.
So it's like you just learn that celebrities, even though like I've had friends become celebrities and I knew them before they were celebrities. And I just know that just because you're a celebrity, it doesn't mean that you're any different of a person. And so I think just being in LA and having friends who are famous shows me how normal they are and how they're just people that are really well known. They are talented and wonderful, but, you know, and I admire them. But I don't really get super starstruck except for Katy Perry. She's also like a totally normal person. Weirdly, like she's completely down to earth and like I could hang out with her and not think that she was like a superstar. But the first few times I met her, I was just like not myself around her. I was just a very nervous, like awkward version of myself. But yeah, I mean, she's just a normal, wonderful human that happens to be really famous. She also, I got to work on one of her music videos because she did a
Really?
music video for Small Talk.
Yeah.
Check it out on YouTube. It's all dogs. Don't look at the haircuts. I didn't do the haircuts, but I did just make sure that the dogs were brushed out and decent looking.
Yeah.
But that shoot really inspired my brand
Yeah.
because, yeah, I was about to open my brick and mortar. I was waiting for the build out to happen, but I was still sort of getting the idea of like what I really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that, I mean, I took a million photos of from that video shoot, and I was like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Cute spaghetti poodles from the 50s figurines. Um, she also is performing in a suit, like a vintage suit of all dogs, in
Yeah.
front of a wall of trophies,
Oh my
dog
God.
show trophies. And I was like, I'm gonna have vintage dog show trophies in my shop. So like that video really, really inspired me. And also during the shoot, there was a moment where she was singing, and we were in a house. It was a rented house, but she is so unbelievably charismatic and powerful.
Yeah.
I got misty watching someone like her, Katy Perry, like with one of the best voices in the world, perform for a tiny crew in a living room of a house, like with all of her heart,
Yeah.
holding her dog. I was just like, this is it moved me so much, and I was like wiping my tears and like not wanting anybody to see. Like, I'm friends with her assistant, and I was just like, don't let me look like a super fan right now, but I was like, wow.
So, what's your favorite dog to groom?
Probably a poodle,
Yeah.
because they're so versatile. Like, I can do a teddy bear, I could do an Asian fusion with bell bottoms, I could do a traditional, I can do anything. I could do so much with them. I can make them pink, like I think a white mini poodle would be my favorite dog. Yeah, with a beautiful coat. Oh my God. Or, yeah, just like a well put together poodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And what would be your like 3 biggest tips for grooming a poodle then?
Prep work. A blowout is really important. So stretch dry really beautifully so that every single hair is straight,
Yeah.
so that you get the most even haircut. Learn breed standard, even if you're doing a fun haircut that's not breed standard. If you have the knowledge of breed standard, you'll be able to make the dog more elegant and bring out their beautiful features. And what else? I don't know. Don't treat them like an object. Make sure you treat them kindly, and not like people wouldn't do that, but make sure that you, I don't know, give them kisses and huggies when you groom them.
That's probably the most wholesome answer to that question we've had yet.
I don't know. That's a tip. Give kissies.
Now, obviously, you are a big businesswoman, you run your own salon, but you also have a course coming out.
Yes. I have a few already that I've done, but this one's really special. It's a big one. It's called the Body Blueprint. I have a faces course where I go through many different types of faces and do tutorials. And now I'm doing the Body Blueprint, where I teach my blueprint. It's basically a checklist of goals.
Yeah.
And the way to view a dog so that you can develop your eye to see different things. And you can also learn to balance every dog. This is something I do in my shop with every dog to make them balanced. It's not a breed standard course. Mm-hmm. It's basically how to balance every dog that comes into your shop that is not breed standard.
Yeah.
It is based on the poodle breed standard. Poodle and Bichon breed standards influence my Body Blueprint, but it's sort of my take on it.
Yeah.
It's simple things like a checklist, like have a level top line. What's a top line? The chest meets the elbow when you're looking at the profile. It's little things like that if you just know how to level a top line, how to, shorten the body a little bit, every single dog will look really cute. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but sometimes when you're watching a dog walk away, they look like they have chaps on or like they have bow legs.
Yeah.
or the dog looks really dumpy and low to the ground. Or other on the other side, the dog looks really too tall, like a giraffe, like the body's too short. So it's just developing your eye to see how to balance a dog.
Yeah.
And I have so many tutorials, including Chrissy Teigen's dog, who she's a celebrity.
Yeah. I know Chrissy Teigen.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know how big of a celebrity she is, but she's big over here. And she brought her standard poodle in, who's this gorgeous red standard poodle, like a huge one, who hadn't had a haircut in over a year. So he was completely overgrown, and I did a full-on overhaul. And that is the bonus video of the blueprint. And it is one of my favorite videos I've done because I think the haircut came out so beautiful. And yeah, so if anybody's watching this and they're wondering if they should take the course, stay tuned. And I'll have more info coming out on my Instagram and TikTok and everywhere. Everywhere. And it's also lifetime access. Yeah, so like you could buy the course.
Yeah.
And if I decide to add more videos, you will always have every update because you'll have it forever. And if you already bought the faces course, every dog from my body blueprint, I did a face tutorial also. So I'm about to add many more faces to the faces course. So I just want to keep giving more value for people. I want to make it worth it. If I'm charging a certain amount, I want it to be worth it.
Yeah. No, 100%, because as you said, like whenever you started grooming, you were watching like Jay Scruggs DVDs. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's gone full cycle now, and you're the educator.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I did the body blueprint class live at Groom Expo West here in Pasadena, and it was so well attended that I was like, I'm so glad that like it really showed me how much people want this course. Yeah. And at the end I was like, well, I'm just gonna finish this haircut, so gather round. I felt like a freaking celebrity. People were videoing it. I had like a crowd of people around me as I was grooming this dog. And it was just like one of the most magical moments. I was like surrounded by groomers and we were laughing and hanging out and doing an Instagram live. And I think it's still on my Instagram.
Yeah.
It was, like somewhere, it was a live that I did back in February 2022. But yeah.
No, I feel like especially a body course is really good because the amount of YouTube videos and different bits and pieces on faces, like there's loads, but you never actually really hear much about the body. So I think it'll be so good for any groomer.
There's so much you can do, even if it's a short haircut. If you apply the blueprint to a short dog that just gets a short, even a one length all over, you can apply the blueprint.
Yeah, and even after that, like once they learn how to balance out the dog, they then know how to play with that and do things like Asian fusion where you're gonna mix it up.
Yeah, I think if there's someone listening that's sort of a baby groomer or someone who hasn't ventured out into the Asian fusion or is like sort of wondering about it, I would definitely recommend learning even just the poodle breed standard, because there's so much about balance in the poodle breed standard that you can apply it to everything.
Thank you so much for joining me, Jess.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode. We have absolutely adored having Jess on. Make sure you share this podcast on your socials and give it a follow so that you don't miss out on an episode. I'll see you next time. Bye.